Now that you've completed all of the steps for the Azure setup in the preceding videos, we're ready to configure AWS. Again, this is section 5 of the Assemble Keys and Config page in the engineering section of agilecloudinstitute.io. And what we'll do here is follow these exact instructions. We will first log into the AWS GUI console as root. And the reason we need to be root is that we need to create power users and perform other high authority actions that are required to create credentials required for this demo. But later on, after you get the example applications up and running easily, what you can do is no longer log in as root, and you can experiment with narrower and narrower scoped permissions so that you can increase the security of your systems before you actually deploy all the way to production. So we'll follow these instructions, and once we log in, the first thing we'll do is make sure that we're set up in US West Oregon. And then after we've done that, we'll open up Cloud Shell and we'll check the version, and then we will download and install a script. So let's go through those steps. aws.amazon.com, go to my account and the AWS Management Console. And here, this particular user is already logged in as root. But if you are not already logged in as the root user for an account, then what you'll need to do is give your credentials as the root user to log in. Once you've logged in, you follow the instructions that I just showed you at the website, which is to make sure that US West 2, which is Oregon, is selected as the region. So I'm going to click it again, but you can note that in this case, we're already in US West 2, Oregon. But I'm clicking on it again. And once that's been assigned and confirmed, you want to open up Cloud Shell. It's convenient to open it in a new tab. Now, if you've never used Cloud Shell before, it may ask you various things. It may ask you to set up a storage account, or it may ask you to open up a customer support ticket to get Cloud Shell available to your account. If you need for it to create storage for you, simply authorize that. If it asks for you to go and create a support ticket to get Cloud Shell opened up, create the support ticket and it'll be opened up for you in a timely manner. But let's now revisit these instructions where it says download the demo script into your Cloud Shell by typing the following into the terminal. So here what I'm doing is I'm selecting this entire command, doing Control-C, and I'm seeing that this is here, and I'm confirming that it ends in .py, what's been selected, and it begins with wget. And I'm going to come back here and do something that's not in those instructions, ls -al, and you see that this Python script is not present. And we want to make sure it's not present. If it were present, that would be because someone using the same account would have downloaded it earlier. And if it were present, we would simply remove it with an rm command. But we don't need to do that. So we're going to paste as plain text. And we're going to confirm again that this command begins with wget and it ends with acmdemosetup.py. And I'm going to hit return. And here the results show us that it has successfully downloaded, but we're going to again type in ls -al, and now this acmdemosetup.py has been downloaded and is available for use locally. So let's look here. We've confirmed that the file was successfully downloaded, and we want to run this command to create the IAM resources, including keys. Now, in this case, we want to keep everything exactly as it is. So we're not going to want to change this command at all. And in theory, some of these flags could be changed, but you do not want to change them because keeping them as they are enables the demos to be run in a way that is easier to clean up afterwards. You'll always know that these particular names are associated with this particular demo, and you don't need to concern yourself because everything will remain clean if you simply paste. So let's paste as plain text, and we're confirming again that this begins with Python 3, and then at the end, it ends with this ACM key pair underbar XYZ, and we're keeping everything exactly as it was, and we're going to click return. This has succeeded. You see it's created a key, and the key has the name that we pushed into it, this ACM key pair underbar XYZ. It has also created an AWS access key ID and an AWS secret key. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select these. I'm going to copy. And now that they're in the clipboard, I'm going to go back to these instructions. And it tells us to copy these three values. And now what we want to do is take these three values and put them into the keys.yaml that we created in an earlier video. So outside of the screen share, I'm opening up keys.yaml in Notepad. And I'm noting that the bottom three lines of this file are key name, AWS access key ID, and AWS secret key ID. But for each of those, it says in keys.yaml, follow instructions to get value. Well, we have followed the instructions. So we have the values now. I'm going to go just above the line that says key name and create a new line under client secret and do Control V. And I've now pasted in this set of three lines, key name, AWS access key ID, and AWS secret key ID with the real values that we just got from AWS Cloud Shell. And what I'm going to do is underneath that, where we have the three lines with the same names that did not have real values, that just said follow instructions, and I'm going to delete those three lines. So originally when I opened up keys.yaml, it had 7 lines in it, and now it still has 7 lines in it, except the last 3 lines, key name, AWS access key ID, and AWS secret key, all 3 of these lines have now been replaced with actual real values so that all 7 lines in keys.yaml now have real values. And I'm going to go to the File menu and I'm going to save. Now, the important thing we want to remember before we're done here is that you did not change the format of keys.yaml at all. And remember, this is machine generated, and this will need to be read by a machine. So it has to have a precise format that it was given. So very carefully, you want to make sure you have not altered the format of keys.yaml at all. It should still be 7 lines, with each line being a key value pair. The first 4 lines should be exactly as they were generated by the machine, and the last 3 lines should be the exact 3 lines that you just scraped out of your AWS Cloud Shell. And these AWS Cloud Shell values should be replacing the values that were present before. In the next video, what we'll do is we will validate all of this locally by running a script. But in order for the validation script to work properly, you're going to have to make sure that your keys.yaml is exactly as the machine generated it, with the exception that we're taking the 3 values that we have for key name, AWS access key ID, and AWS secret key, and we are scraping those lines out of Cloud Shell and pasting them in here exactly as they are, and then replacing the 3 lines that were dummy values before. When that's done, we'll be ready to move on to the next video. You can download the Agile Cloud Manager for free at agilecloudinstitute.io, and you can hire the Agile Cloud Institute to perform technical support, training, and consulting. You can get more information and you can contact us through agilecloudinstitute.io.